All right, I got a fairy tale battle, taking it way back to the beginning of fairy tale. Erza versus Natsu at the beginning of fairy tale. I'm talking episode 5, nigga. I'm talking episode, 6. I'm talking. I'm talking those kind of, fight. That kind of fight. They'll be fighting in Magnolia, all right? And that's the scenario, and they're just fighting. As soon as Erza gets back to the guild, Natsu and her fight right then and there. Serious fight though. Mind you, Natsu doesn't have Dragon Force yet. He doesn't even use Dragon Slayer Secret Art yet. He don't use that shit that early on. So remember that when I'm making this video. Erza doesn't have extra. Well, she has. She still has quite a bit of armor. She has. A few. You know, and that's all she needs. Let's get into it real quick. Strength still goes to Natsu slightly. I'll say slightly because again, he don't have all those powers he has. He has still a Dragon Slayer, right? So Dragon Slayers are strong, right? Striking power specifically, lifting power is pretty good too. But Erza, you could easily say this version of Erza, that version Natsu, you could give it to Erza if you wanted to. Speed wise, I give it to Erza. Durability wise, I also give it to Erza. She has all those armors in her arsenal. She uses the Heaven Wheel armor. She has the Fire Empress armor. And in this fight, that's gonna really help her out. Against this version of Natsu, right? Environment or not environment, the endurance goes to Natsu. Dragon Slayer magic, he can endure. He'll push through the pain and keep fighting. Longer than he should have been. She'd be like this during the fight. She'd be like, "You should have been down a long time ago, but you're still standing." And he's like, "Well, that's just how it is." And he's like that. Even early on in the series. So we give him the endurance. Intelligence wise, I give that shit to Erza. Experience wise, I give that shit to Erza. Close skills wise, though, I give that to Natsu. You know, he's gonna go up close and boxer. He's gonna, be a boxer a little bit more, with her. Range skills go to Erza. She breaks out her uh Titania armor, right? You know, and she uses Heaven's Will, right? She has all those swords she can summon. You know, that's a problem for that version of Natsu. He can't really do shit to that, right? Recovery goes to Natsu slightly. Hacks go to Natsu. Dragon Slayer magic is powerful. It keeps him in the fight, longer. I'd say out of the two magics, he has better magic. However, he's not as experienced with his magic at this point in the story. Environment goes to Natsu. Um, I just believe he would fight a little bit harder than her. Even so, though, the fight still ends up in Urza's favor. Urza wins high difficulty against Natsu. If they fought each other at the beginning of the series, talking about episode 5, 6, 7, 8, that shit goes to fucking Urza. High difficulty. But be cool, call on the corner, and watch this video and know what this video is about. Be cool, call on the corner.